With us this morning is Judge Jeanine Pirro, who also has a brand new book, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, and she'll tell us all about it. Good morning, Jeanine. How are you?
I'm terrific this morning. How are you?
Oh, I am well. I'm glad the summer is over. It's time to go back to work, September, I call it. And Thursday night, the president has said about the Department of Justice and the FBI that they have to clear up all the misconceptions and everything that's going on, or else he'll take care about it. He'll take care of it. Judge Pirro, tell us what's going on.
Well, Thursday night, the president, in his inimitable fashion, was at a rally in Evansville, Indiana, and he said it seemed like he issued an ultimatum to the Justice Department and the FBI, saying either they start doing their job or he will get involved. Now, understand one thing. The president has consistently said that he will not involve himself in everything that's been going on during this Mueller investigation. And the amazing part is after 20 months, John, 20 months, there is absolutely no evidence, not one iota of evidence, of collusion between this president or anyone on his team and Russia. In fact, as I often say, you point one finger at someone, three come back at you. And the only collusion is between Hillary Clinton and her Clinton Foundation and the money that passed back and forth when she approved the sale of our uranium to Russia. Christopher Steele, Andrew McCabe, who was in the FBI, and some name that people are going to start getting familiar with, a Russian oligarch by the name of Deripaska that Mueller was involved in. But, the FBI has been corrupted from James Comey down at the upper echelon of it. And the president has said nothing and done nothing for 20 months. Jeff Sessions, the attorney general hiding in a closet, says he's assigning John Huber from Utah to investigate the 2016 election. Well, this guy I believe it's been 9 months, 10 months, hasn't even investigated Bruce Orr or anyone else that he should be investigating. And he has not investigated the one guy who brought information to the FBI about the Clinton being fertile ground for the Russians who were looking to bribe their way to our uranium. This is very sad, John. So my feelings right now is that the president, like the rest of America, is fed up with the idea of there being justice for Americans, ordinary Americans, and another system of justice for Hillary Clinton, the Democrats, the FBI, the DOJ. And now we find out on Friday that Andrew Weissman, the top dog of the Mueller prosecution or special counsel team, he was involved with Bruce Orr and knew everything about the dossier, that it was fake. He knew it was false. And as a result of that, you've got a fake dossier being handed to a FISA court judge, and now Mueller's investigating Trump for this. And the truth is that Weissman knew about it. He's the top prosecutor. Nobody is looking at the corruption. It's all one-sided, the corruption on the part of the Democrats. And this president was framed, John. It's that simple.
Wow.
I've been in law enforcement for over 3 decades. This guy was framed. And he was framed by all the same players. And I'm at some point I'm going to do a chart between Mueller and his role in the prosecution of the Russians who were trying to buy our uranium. And then you've got Rod Rosenstein, who actually prosecuted the case of the one Russian they convicted. And then you've got Hillary Clinton getting money to the campaign. Hillary Clinton is pals with James Comey. She's pals with Mueller. I mean, it is the crisscrossing and the incestuous nature of our government in an attempt to prevent the outsider president that we wanted from getting elected is frightening.
Jeanine Pirro, Judge Pirro, I had, I meet a lot of important people and a lot of people out of Washington. And the question that came up at dinner was, Senator Sessions, was he a plant of the deep state? And I'll tell you why they said that. He pushed for that position. He wanted that position, and he never told Trump that he's going to recuse himself. He was going to get sworn in on a day, and the next day he recused himself. So it goes into a fork in the road. Either he was part of this entire conspiracy, or that night after he got sworn in, somebody showed him pictures of him in bed with somebody, and tell him if he ever says anything that those pictures will come out. I mean, what do you think is it? Is he part of a plant from the deep state to stop the president of the United States?
Well, I don't have an answer to that because I can only speculate. But what I can tell you in truth is that everything you say in terms of his recusing himself, he knew he was going to recuse himself when he took the job, but he took the job anyway. The president didn't ask him to take the job. He begged for that job. He groveled for that job. And as soon as he got in there, he made a decision that he was not going to involve himself in any way, shape, or form. But what he didn't realize, I'll give him the benefit of being incompetent. What he didn't realize is that he's nothing more than a shill for the deep state. They are still running the Justice Department and the FBI and now the Mueller investigation. Now, remember, Weissman, who knows everything about the dossier, that it's a fake thing paid for by Hillary Clinton, brought to a court so that they could surveil Donald Trump's campaign, all right? And Weissman is now investigating Trump when he knows the whole foundation of his case has no validity, no credibility. They framed the man. And Bruce Orr, whose wife worked for Fusion GPS, which was a group that paid for the dossier, she was back-channeling along with her husband, Bruce Orr, the number 4 in the Justice Department, Christopher Steele, who was fired by the FBI. Christopher Steele is begging to get on the Mueller team. Peter Strzok asked to get on the Mueller team. Andrew Weissman asked to get on the Mueller team. Now, what is the common denominator? The common denominator is that every one of them was part and parcel of the fake dossier that they used to set up Donald Trump. It is, I got to tell you, it's disgusting, John. It is sad that in the end, what we have is the veil taken off of the corruption in the deep state. And, the people on the left basically saying, as I call them, the liars, leakers, and liberals, saying, oh, you know what? Don't believe your lying eyes. Donald Trump is corrupt. I mean, this is craziness. It's absolute insanity.
I mean, the other at that same dinner party, the other funny story was everybody was blaming Rudy Giuliani. And you say, why? For not accepting the Attorney General's position when offered, and you only wanted to go to State Department.
Well, that's his business.
I know. It's a little bit of, we laughed about it, but if Rudy Giuliani was Attorney General, would he have been as effective as Eric Holder was in the Obama administration?
Right. Look, Rudy Giuliani, we all know Rudy Giuliani would have been a phenomenal attorney general. The guy's a real prosecutor. That guy, Sessions, is, he has no prosecutorial balls. It's as simple as that. Rudy Giuliani knows about crime. He knows about running an office. Sessions is he's hiding in a corner. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. And what's interesting, John, is now that they're trying to get prison reform done. Now even Chuck Grassley, who was a big fan of Sessions, and Lindsey Graham, another fan of Sessions, because they worked with him in the Senate, they're now saying, you know what? We're sick and tired of this guy. This guy is just an obstructionist, and he's someone who isn't doing anyone any good other than hiding in a closet somewhere.
Would you accept the job as Attorney General if offered to you?
Well, look, it hasn't been offered to me, and I don't engage in hypotheticals. You know, John, being the DA was the best job in the world. I loved it. You know, I ran for office 5 times. I get it. But right now, I'm happy at Fox. I get to say exactly what I want to say, and I get to talk to America about what I see as the corruption in Washington. And ironically, John, when I first started the show, you know, Saturday Night Justice with Judge Jeanine, we thought it was going to be about crime. But, you know, that's my wheelhouse. But in truth, there's more crime going on in Washington than in criminal courtrooms across the country. So what I did was I just started talking about politics, and it's a straight talking, you know, in your face, everything supported by evidence, like the book Liars and Leakers. It's all fact checked. There's footnotes in there, but it's an easy read. And what has happened to this country is a sad commentary. Because we look to the Justice Department, we look to the FBI, we look up to them, you know, as the citadel on the hill and all that, and the shining city on the hill. But in truth, it's been muddied up by James Comey. He is the worst director since J. Edgar Hoover. The only difference between him and J. Edgar Hoover was J. Edgar Hoover wore dresses. You know, I mean, the whole thing is wild. Now, you know, and I'm going to share one more story with you, John. My daughter first saw the movie Chappaquiddick, of course, about Ted Kennedy and Mary Jo Kopechne and her dying in Chappaquiddick. And she said to me, Mom, how did everyone let that happen? She's a lawyer, a young lawyer. She said, he should have been prosecuted for murder. And I said, no, darling, manslaughter or criminally negligent homicide. And she said, how did they let him get away with it? I said the same thing is happening today as we watch the Clintons and Strzok and McCabe and Comey get away with it. They lie to Congress. They obstruct justice. You know, she run a corrupt foundation. Everybody watches it, and she's getting away with it. They're getting away with it. It's time for Lady Justice to make sure that there's a level playing field for all Americans. And America needs to be, you know, confirmed. They need to understand that justice is equal for everyone. And the only way to do that is get rid of Jeff Sessions and get someone in there who is going to make sure that it's not just one side that's being looked at, that everyone who violates crime should be looked at.
Judge Pirro, I got 30 seconds and I'll need a quick answer. The Congress, everybody keeps lying to Congress, and Congress has a gun, but no bullets in it. Who is stopping those bullets in Congress? People have told me it was Paul Ryan. Is Paul Ryan part of the dark state?
Well, I'll tell you what, Paul Ryan should go. Paul Ryan stopped us.
He's going, but he didn't resign.
He's going, but he ought, I know he's going, but you know what? He should give up the leadership right now because he's doing nothing but stopping people in Congress.
Is he stopping the silver bullets from Congress's gun?
Absolutely. Without a doubt, John. And he just needs to go sooner rather than later. Shame on him. Everything they've tried to do, he's stopped. And that by oversight
Judge Pirro,
reform,
we're out of time. Judge
Okay.
Pirro, we're out of time, but thank you for coming on, and thank you. We love you, and I hope
John.
your book is doing good, and we'll catch up real soon.
All right. Thanks, John.